Absolutely no problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't think
My
so.
investigator was about to pick out. No problem.
More CDs.
Okay, let me ask this with the State Defense, Mr. Medina present. Of course, I'll remind the jury that you reserved your right to do your opening, and then I will give you the floor. May I ask who will be the defense's first witness?
First witness?
If you're putting on a case, I'm not even going to make an assumption.
Well, we'll let the court know.
Okay.
It's Mr. Coleman.
Okay, I just, obviously, I don't know if Mr. Medina intends to testify. Of course, he has the right to remain silent and not become a witness in the case. If at some point you make that decision, yay or nay, please let the court know, because obviously before Mr. Medina was to testify, if he is testifying, the court would like to colloquy him, and before the defense rests, the court would like to colloquy him.
And Judge, could you also please, since we're waiting, I would ask that you colloquy the defendant on the defense's strategic decision to not make any motions after the state has rested.
Okay. Okay, have you discussed that strategy with Mr. Medina? Okay, Mr. Medina, will you please rise? Will you confirm for me, sir, that you are still under oath, having been sworn to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Medina, at the end of the state's case, the defense always has the opportunity to make a judgment of acquittal, meaning that they have the right to make a motion to the court arguing that the evidence was insufficient to make a prima facie case. Have you had the opportunity to speak to your attorneys about that? And you are aware, sir, that they declined to make such a motion on your behalf. Are you aware? Are you in agreement with that strategy? Has anybody forced or coerced you to be in agreement? And are you in agreement freely and voluntarily of your own accord? Sir, you may be seated.
Video inside the hole. I didn't hear these.
The items from yesterday's hearing where we introduced defense 1B. Just the text message.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, State Defense ready? Okay, let's bring in the jury, please. For the record, State Defense, Mr. Medina, and all of our jurors are accounted for. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the state of Florida has now rested its case. As you may recall, at the beginning of the trial, the defense reserved their right to give an opening statement. They may, at this time, give an opening statement if they wish. Please remember that what the lawyers say is not evidence, but it is meant to guide you in what they believe the evidence will show. Defense, would you like to give an opening statement? You may.
You heard that at the beginning of the prosecution's case. You heard it peppered throughout the inception of the case. And what's funny is, what was looked into that? Saw a clip of a boxing session where at the bottom, my client's YouTube had labeled that.
Phone's off, folks. You may continue.
My client had it labeled that as pro boxing sparring session. You heard that my client told Detective Grossman that he had a bachelor's in Florida National College. They're all incorrect things. None of them are true. Not one. Never an amateur boxer. That video you're going to hear was from a cruise he took with the deceased. Saw the Royal Caribbean logo on the ring. His father's going to tell you he didn't go get a bachelor's from Florida National College. He went there. So you got to think to yourself, why would somebody harm themselves up like that? Why would somebody portray themselves to be someone that they're not? Especially when you're sitting in front of a detective after what happened on this date in 2013. Like, I don't know if you're not, I don't know if you're not.
Objection, Judge. Sustained.
So, the answer is really simple. We're going to present an expert, Dr. Philip Cody. He is an expert with regards to battered spousal syndrome. Okay? Battered spousal syndrome is a derivative of battered wife syndrome. What you're going to learn is that his actions of inflating his ego are typical of a man who's being psychologically, emotionally. But that's thinking for a second.
Objection, Judge. Your opening statement, please.
So let's talk about what the evidence is going to show from the defense standpoint. We're going to go back over some things that the prosecution showed you with regards to the day in question. Things that you haven't seen that we're going to let you guys know about include a communication between the decedent and one of her friends, Kelly Barry Harwood. Okay? You're going to hear that Jennifer Alfonso started Facebook messaging her at 3 o'clock in the morning to see if she was awake. You're going to see these, you're going to get a printout of the actual communication. And you're going to see in that communication between the decedent and her good buddy exactly where the decedent's mind was. And where was it? It was full of anger and rage. Not my words. Not my co-counsel's words. Not my client's words. The decedent's words. You're going to hear phrases like, I wanted to rip his eyes out in those messages that morning. You're going to hear the words, I'm ready to explode that morning. Not from my client, not from me or my co-counsel, but from Jennifer Alfonso. You're going to hear that she was furious at my client for not waking her up at 1:30 in the morning to watch movies. You're going to hear that she was upset that he didn't want to spend time with her. And that she was outraged at the fact that she had lost control over the man that she had been abusing, the man she had been controlling, and it's evidence from her own words that morning. And we're going to show you those messages. We're going to present them to you, and you're going to see line by line the communication that Kelly Barry Harwood had with Jennifer Alfonso. And then, when you take that, we're also going to sit down, we're going to show you the video again. From the beginning of the morning, you're going to see Jennifer Alfonso go to a cabinet in the kitchen. You're going to see that in close proximity to that time, all of a sudden, she's doing all these activities in the house, and you're going to hear that her friend Kelly Berry Harwood said, "Do you have a burst of energy?" You're going to find out that our investigator, a month after this incident, found alpha PVP in that drawer. Alpha PVP is the chemical component for bath salts. Bath salts are a new drug that we're going to educate you on what they are and what they do. And you're going to see that the same exact drawer that she goes to, it's almost 7 in the morning, is the drawer our investigator found those pills. And then you're going to start seeing the fact that Miss Alfonso, in a span of 45 minutes, goes upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs. And what she's doing when she's going upstairs is she's continuing to have an argument with my client where she's the one that's angry. She's the one that starts the fights. You know, the prosecution, the detective, you heard the detective talk about, throwing mascara and throwing towels. You're going to see a video from Jennifer Alfonso's daughter, the young girl, about what she experienced. And this is before she knew her mother passed. You're going to see that video. And you know what that video is going to show? That this little girl heard crashing and smashing in the room next door. You're going to hear that my client that morning was trying to calm down Jennifer Alfonso. You're not going to hear it from me. You're going to hear it from the deceased's daughter in video saying that Derek was trying to calm her down. But you couldn't. You can't calm her down. And it's not from me, and it's not from Derek, and it's not from my co-counsel, it's from her daughter. These are videos. I'm not going to try to trick the little girl on the stand. You're going to see the video from her words. And then you're going to see when Jennifer Alfonso wasn't able to facilitate the confrontation she wanted to assert control over my client, she goes to the front door. You're going to hear from my client's father, you're going to see it on the video, that when she cracked that door open and then moved a little bit, it wasn't to leave like they were implying. It was to hit off the sensor. Because that's the only way she was going to get my client to come downstairs. Because she wasn't done fighting. It's not me saying it. It's not my client or my co-counsel. It's on the video. And then we're going to show you, we're going to slow down the video, and we're going to show you the first time they're downstairs, you're going to see my client get struck multiple times in that first frame. Okay? You're going to see that with your own eyes, and we're going to slow it down, and we're going to blow it up so you guys can see who's retreating in that video and the actions of what's going on in the sink. There's shadow play in this case. Shadow play is imperative. Shadow play is something that crime scene forensic technologists use to make a determination as to what's going on. And we have one of those. And we're going to present him, and he's going to tell you what he sees in the shadows. That's going to give you an idea of what was going on in that area of the kitchen that we couldn't see. And lastly, but most importantly, there's going to be a position that we take where the incident itself, which led to the decedent losing her life, we're going to show you something you wouldn't expect to see. We're going to slow down that video, we're going to enlarge it, and then you're going to see the butt of a knife. And it's pretty simple, folks. If I show you a knife, you got to give Derek back his life.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will be the judges of the fact in this case. You may continue.
That's the case. That's the case. At the end of the day, in that little kitchen, she had the knife and she was attacking him, it's got to be self-defense, especially the knives that we saw. We're going to show you that the image that we have in that shot is consistent with the shape of the handle of the knife presented in evidence here. My client didn't want to fight with her that morning. He didn't want to go downstairs and fight. It's obvious. She's the one that kept going upstairs and upstairs. Her daughter's going to tell you. He didn't want to fight. He was trying to calm things down. You're going to hear that my client had a history of abuse with Jennifer Alfonso. You're going to see photographs that we got from Jennifer Alfonso's telephone that are shocking in nature. And at the end of the day, you sit down and you evaluate the pieces of evidence and you use common sense and, more importantly, something that is invaluable in a defense case. Physical evidence. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. You just have to look. When you see what we point out to you, and you take into consideration the evaluation of what transpired that day, the only thing that you could say at the cessation of this case is my client is not guilty of first-degree murder. My client is not guilty of child neglect. My client is not guilty of throwing a deadly missile. At the end of the day, you are the evaluators of this case. Remember what the prosecution said in their opening, and remember what I said in my opening. And when we finish with this case, sit down, give this case the appropriate attention it deserves, and remember what I told you. If you see a knife, give him back his life.
Defense, would you like to call your first witness?
Judge, the defense calls Stephen Coleman.
Mr. Coleman, please. Mr. Coleman, if you would please come forward.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Have a
Mr.
seat.
Coleman, please come take a seat. Sir, please make sure all of your answers are out loud so all of our jurors may hear you. Take a seat. When he is comfortable, you may begin. One moment. Can I have the television moved?
I'll do it, Judge.
Thank you.
May I proceed?
You may.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Can you introduce yourselves to the members of the jury?
I'm Stephen Coleman. I'm an audio-video specialist for United States Forensics.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you do in your experience?
I do anything from 911 calls to surveillance cameras. Usually if someone needs a picture of a frame or audio enhanced, things of that nature.
How long have you been working in this field?
Next year will be 10 years.
And tell us some of the training that you have to be able to facilitate the acts that you do.
Actually, I started in like the 90s working with a law firm who did court presentations when DVDs were just fairly new. And I got in my foot in the door through the law firm as an audio-video specialist. From there, different tools and schooling and training since then, you know, it's helped me where I'm at today.
Have you ever testified in a criminal proceeding before?
Yes, actually, I've done several cities throughout the United States, and actually this is my second time in this building.
And roughly how many times have you testified in trial?
I usually do 1 or 2 a year, so it's kind of hard to say. Somewhere around, if I took a guess, around 12, 15 times, somewhere around there.
And the times that you've testified, have you been qualified as an expert in manipulating video?
Yes, yes.
May I approach, Judge?
You may.
Do you recognize this, sir?
Yes, I do, yes.
How do you recognize it?
This is the original video stills that I produced from the original video, which is also on there as well, from the apartment or house that I got.
Is that video in the same or substantially the same condition it was as after you edited it?
Yes, yes.
And this is the video that was provided to you by the defense team, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And that is actually what you originally got was what the prosecution gave us, correct?
Yeah.
Judge, at this time, the defense moves what's been previously marked as A3 for identification and evidence.
Any objection? Yes.
Is that what it is? There it is.
You just open from there.
Sit down.
Mr. Coleman, can you assist?
Yeah.
Final is a folder that has the images and video on it.
And when he deposed you, did he question you about these?
Yes. This is the whole, this, you had, I believe, that's all on the final, on directory.
Perhaps you should let the whole and try to find it.